Kanji. The languages we haven't catered for Zori. Last time we started with the basic fundamentals in Python. Yeah. So today, the first thing we touch is loops. Loops. Not my loops ya kubika mu belt, right? But loops in Python. So what is a loop? You can think of a loop as a recurring sequence of something that just keeps, it goes around full circle. You start here, you walk around down the stairs, you go through the other staircase that side, and then you find yourself here again and repeat the process. It's a loop, right? It just keeps repeating, That's what a loop is. So in Python, or in programming in general, loops, why are they important? Well, loops are important if you want to execute a specific code or something in programming multiple times. So let's say you want to let's talk about birthdays. Yes, birthdays. When you're singing the happy birthday song, right? Now you want to print it in Python. Would you just go ahead and start saying print? Depending on the number of times you're going to say these words in the song. Let's say you're going to sing it 6 times. Are you going to just say print happy birthday, print happy birthday, print happy birthday that number of times? Of course, it's going to be a lot of work typing all that. And let's say 17 people have a birthday, and then you want to sing that song for everyone using Python. That's where loops come in now, whereby you can just repeat this line of code multiple times by using loops. So the loops we'll be discussing today, we have a for loop and a while loop. These are the two loops we'll be discussing. So a for loop is used to repeat a block of code a known number of times. So for example, you know the amount of times you want to repeat something. You use a for loop. So you can say a for loop known a known number of iterations. You know the amount of times you want to repeat saying something, printing something, adding, like that. And then a while loop is used when you want to repeat something an infinite number of times, like an unknown number of times. You don't know when what you get will be valid, right? So you can say to iterate an infinite that's the two loops we'll be discussing. So to get have an example, somebody with a tissue. No? Okay. Yeah. I won't say G in H. Let's say you want to repeat calling someone's name. Maybe you're calling someone John, John, John. You want to call them 3 times. This is how you do it in Python with a loop. We start with a for loop. So this is the syntax. So you start for, then you need a counter. We'll just name this counter X, and then in range of 3. That, and then we'll say so. This is what's happening here. Right? We have the for loop, which is just specified by the word for in Python. Then this X is just the counter that will be holding the number of times we have executed the code that's under this for loop. And the code that's under the for loop is indicated by the indentation. If you were to write this print statement starting the same line as this, then this is not under this. So this X will hold values 1, 2, 3. So when you say for X in this range of 3, it means we want to print this hello 3 times. So it will be, when it reaches here, and then it finds X, it will initialize X to 1, and then it will print hello. That will be the first one. To repeat it, it will iterate. When it prints this, it will increment this X. This X will now be 2, and then it will print this again. And then it goes back to this, increment it, it becomes 3, and then it will print this. And then this code will finally close and stop executing, because it has reached the number of times we told it. X has now reached the value of 3, which we specified here. So that's just the syntax of a for loop in Python. The other way you can specify the number of times you want to print it here is, instead of just writing 3, you can say 1, 4. And then don't forget the those. So when you say 1, 4, it just means you want to print it 3 times. But yes, you have written 4. The thing with, when you write range and then with 2 values inside like this, the last number is exclusive, which means we will not actually reach 4, but we will do 4 minus 1. So even if I was to just say 14, it will just print it 13 times. It's always the number here minus 1. The number at the end is exclusive. So that's how you would print hello, and whatever specific number of times you want to print it using the for loop, just like that. If you want, you can try it out. That is if you want. So now let's say we talked about different types of variables last time, and there was a list. We had the list, and we also had this different set, a dictionary. If you remember, when we wanted to print the values of a list, we would use the index of the value we want to print. So let's say we had this list here, a list of dogs. We had this list. When you wanted to print something with this, you would say print and then you'd specify dog and then the index of what you print. So for example, if you wanted to print Chihuahua, you'd say 0. And then it would print this specific one. But then if you were just to print dogs as it is dogs like this, the output it would give you was, including the square brackets, it would give you this entire thing just as it is. That's the way it looks. But now let's say you want to print it in a way where it doesn't include the quotations or the square brackets. That's where loops come in again. So you do something like this. You'd create a for loop. But this time it will be for. And then since we have a list of dogs and we want to print each individual, you'd say for a dog singular in the list dogs. Print dogs. See the difference with how we were printing the other value in the beginning. We're not using in range here. We're just using the name of the list with this counter here. So it's just the same concept. This dog, this singular version of dog, is just like, it's just a counter. If you want, you can just name it X as well. But then this X, instead of checking through a range, it will be checking through this list called dogs. So it will start the first dog, this dog will be assigned this, and then it will print it, the first one to print it. And then the next time it iterates, it will be this, and it will print. The next time to be this, and it will also print that. Just like that. And that's how you print through a list using a loop. You just use those two lines, just like that. Any questions so far? Questions? Anyone who's behind? Yeah. Okay. So now what we are printing is dog. Yes, the singular dog. So like if you have a list, right? This list of dogs, and you said print dogs, it would just output this entire thing. Yes, but you want it to print Chihuahua, Rottweiler, and the red nose, right? On separate lines. So you create a counter dog or whatever you name it, right? And then that counter will be checking against this. It was like the first one we had, which said for x in range 3. You see? So this x, when it starts looping, it will be checking against this 3. So this 3 means it's just 1, 2, 3. It should repeat 3 times. This x should repeat 3 times. So when x is being executed in this for loop for the first time, so that's the same as we're saying x is equal to 1. The next time x is equal to 2, and the next time x is 3. So in this case as well, since we have these dogs is this. In the same context as range was 1, 2, 3. For dogs, it's this is the first, the second, the third. So when you say print dog for the first time, it will print this. And that's why we are saying dog instead of dogs. I don't know if that's okay. Okay. No one else with a question? Sure. Yes, print text. This is just, you can name it anything you want, this. But this has to be the exact same name of your list and the exact same capitalization. If it was all lowercase, then use lowercase. Okay. Yes. Pardon? Yes. Yes. The four. The four starts as a block of code on its own, and then the print will be inside this. Like this will be a line on top, and then the next line will be a print, but with some spacing here. Okay. We also had last time. We also had the dictionary, right? A dictionary is a collection of items with a key and a value, if you remember. And then let's just create uh, one dictionary. We'll call it countries. And this dictionary will contain, the key will be continent. So we'll have Africa, and any country in Africa. Okay. So let's say we have this dictionary and you want to print all these values here, and you wanted to print them in a way whereby it will print something like there'll be the key on this side and the value on this other side. So it should be something like when you say Africa here, on this other side, it prints a country in Africa, like that. And you know, when you say print countries, it will just give you this entire thing. And you want to print it the same way we did with the list. You want it to come out in a format like this. Africa, the country, Asia, the country, just like that. Using the same for loop, you'd write something like this. It's a bit different. So you have to specify, we can say 2 counters for this one. You say for the key, then a value as well in so here what we have, the same for loop. But then here, instead of specifying just 1 counter, we specify 2 counters. Because in the dictionary we have a key and its value, another key and its value. That's why we have specified 2. So if you specify 1 to print the key and 1 to print the value. And then in the print, that's why now you will print the key and the value with this print statement like that. If you want, you can use any other print statement that you're comfortable with, but for this I just prefer this like that. So if you notice, for printing a dictionary, we added an items method at the end there. So whenever you're printing through a dictionary using a loop like this, you need to specify the method items. This is an inbuilt method in Python that just allows you to iterate through a dictionary and manipulate the values there using a loop. So in short, kuifaka kocha be, just add it. This is something you can just, this is the part whereby we say, just gun that items at the end whenever you're printing a dictionary. But whenever you're looping through a list, don't add this. It's not needed. So if you can see, this is 4 loops. They're simple. They're easy. Might be saying they're easy unless you have questions. And doesn't it? While I'm writing this, should be trying the code there. I might write some, might contain errors. So you should be trying them out. So that if you find that it has an error, we debug a papel. Right? Yes. Question, yes. Why is it, anyone who can help us with, why is it that a list used square brackets, but a dictionary uses the curly braces? Question? Anyone with the answer? Anyone trying to try? Yes. Anyone willing to try? Yes. Yes. Exactly. You've heard. You've heard. Okay. She said specific syntax in Python. That's just how it's defined as a language. That's why when you use uh, the type method in Python, you use this type over any lists you have created with this, or a dictionary with this type of brackets, and then you use the type on it. For example, if you were to say type and then you add the name countries inside here, you will see that it will show you that this thing is a dictionary, just based off the curly braces. That's just how it is. Yes. Any other question? Anyone who's behind? Clarification, addition? Yes. So you do understand about the dictionaries, right? Yes. So we have this key here and this value here, right? In a list, we just had a list A containing numbers like that, right? So we just used one thing here like that for value in to print this, right? But for a dictionary, each key has a value. The same way each door has a key, or each key opens a specific door, right? So this key opens this, right? So in this loop, why we're using key and value, we just used this because we want to print two things here. If you were to specify just one here, if you were to specify one here, just try it and run it. While he's running that, anyone with a question? Or we are all right on this? Or maybe we are feeling shy. 0? You've tried it? Just try. Remove this value and then also remove this, and then just remain with this and everything else. But another question? Oh yes, what does it bring? Uh-huh. How are the brackets structured? Everyone else gotten the same thing. Can come and share a laptop with your senior. Can share a laptop with your senior here. Just log into Windows. Nga master restart. Naleta then restart. Chishimie ni fie. Windows finish flip out desktop face. Ange palinudi. Windows. Fine. Oh, okay. We're still typing. Still typing. Wow. But I can erase this bottom part. Yeah. Nanga pa wallpaper good guys. By chance. How people still typing? It's a day I stand advocate for your bill. Should be he's sleeping. Pardon? It's not giving you any output. You've created the dictionary. Okay, just a minute. The output should bring you something like this. Closes the keys we had like that and the value here, right? So when you're using dictionaries, as I said, there's items. You see, right? When using items, it's used to print both the key and the value. And you wanted to output them without these, right? We wanted them to be displayed in a format that we want, which is specified here in the print statement. So if you want to print just the keys, alone without the value, what you can do is you remove this, and then you remove this, and then you exchange. What you add here now is keys. That is if what you want to print is just the keys. So we don't have this anymore. Then the only thing it will output for you are the keys we had: Africa, Asia, Europe, and so on. If you want your output just to display the values alone, then you replace the keys here with values. And then you can go ahead to print your values. So these are methods you use with dictionaries. There are a lot of these methods. If you want to learn more about them, in your same IDE, in your IDEs, you can just type the name, countries of your dictionary, and then just add help and print it. Yes, like that. It will give you all the methods you can use with a dictionary: keys, values, get, pop, port, clear. There are a lot, but the one that's mostly important that we use is the same one that I said, Ghana items, that I removed there. Right. So we can move on from this, or there's still questions. There's still questions. Yes. What I said about this line. Okay. So what I was saying is, to manipulate dictionaries, we have methods that we invoke on the name of the dictionary, right? So the one we use mostly was the same. We just abbreviate country dot items, right? Like that. And then I was saying these items is used when you want to display both the key and the value. If you want to only display the key only, you use, see, the name of your dictionary dot keys. Or if it's just the values, it will be dot values. Then the one I said about help, right? I said there are a lot of these methods you can use. The list goes on. And if you want to learn more about these same keys, you can use this line. The output will give you all of them and their descriptions of what they do. That is if you're using an IDE. I don't know if it will work on, yes. So there are a lot of these methods which you get to learn more as you start doing, what is it? You're doing data science, right? Okay, you'll be doing it. No. Your course outline, doesn't it say something about data science? So no data science, no machine learning. Okay. I don't know if I've answered your question. Okay. We'll move on then. Confusing, confusion.